United States Appeal Court has ruled most tariffs issued by the President Donald Trump are illegal, setting up a potential legal showdown that could upend his foreign policy agenda. Also, the ruling affects Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs imposed on most countries around the world, as well as other tariffs shaped and that were slapped on the China, Mexico, India, and Canada. In a 7-4 decision, the United States Court of Appeal for the Federal Circuit rejected Donald Trump's argument that the tariffs were permitted under an Emergency Economic Powers Act, calling them invalid as contrary to the law. Also, the ruling will not take effect until the 14th of October to give the administration time to ask the Supreme Court to take up the case. Also, Donald Trump criticized the court and its ruling on the Truth Social platform, saying that if allowed to stand, this decision would literally destroy the United States of America. Today, a highly partisan appeals court incorrectly said that our tariffs should be removed, but they know the United States of America will win in the end, he wrote. If these tariffs ever went away, it would be a total disaster for the country. It would make us financially weak, and we have to be strong. Donald Trump had justified the tariff under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, that is IEEPA, which gives the president the power to act against unusual and extraordinary threats. Also, Donald Trump has earlier declared a national emergency on trade, arguing that a trade imbalance is harmful to the United States' national security. But the court ruled that imposing tariffs is not within the president's mandate and that setting levies is a core congressional power. In its judgment, the United States Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit rejected Donald Trump's argument that the tariffs were permitted under his emergency economic powers, calling the levies invalid as contrary to the law. The 127-page ruling says that the IEEPA neither mentions tariff or any of its synonyms, nor has procedural safeguards that contain clear limits on the president's power to impose tariffs. The power to impose taxes and tariffs therefore continues to belong to the Congress, the court ruled, and the IEEPA does not override this. The court wrote that it is unlikely that when Congress passed the law in 1977, it was intended to depart from its past practices and grant the president unlimited authority to impose tariffs. Whenever Congress intends to delegate to the president the authority to impose tariff, it does so explicitly, either by using unequivocal terms like tariff and duty, or via an overall structure which makes clear that Congress is referring to tariffs, the judges wrote. The ruling comes in response to the 2 lawsuits filed by the small businesses and a coalition of the United States. Also, the lawsuits were filed after the Donald Trump's executive order in the April, which imposed a baseline 10% tariff on almost every country in the world, as well as reciprocal tariffs on dozens of countries. Donald Trump declared the date to be America's Liberation Day from unfair trade policies. In May, the New York-based Court of International Trade declared the tariffs that were lawful and that are unlawful. Also, the decision was put on holding due to the appeals process.